wearing a skirt. Intro. Oops. Hello there. I am in the Polish mountains of Beskid Śląski, I believe, here to review the season finale of Rick and Morty. I have no way to edit this video later, so this will be just one long clip. I really hope I don't meet anyone now on the road while I'm talking. I am going to be discussing these episodes, both 9 and 10 as a whole. I do not know their titles, so let's just say they are titled Crow Rick 1 and Crow Rick 2. And this will be my culmination to the Rick and Morty series. I have a playlist for it. I will link it in the video if I ever have access to like desktop version of YouTube Studio. So usually I split these videos into 3 parts, which are continuity, characterization, and plot, just general quality of the episodes. And I'll try to do it here too, but yeah, I'll be discussing both of the episodes together. Where should I start? I guess I'll start with actually the episode no, that's a bad move. Let's start with characterization continuity, because it's completely a singular thing. So these last 2 episodes completely undermine Morty's character arc over the last 4 seasons and 8 episodes. And I mean, I've talked about it in all of my previous videos, but in general, apart from Jerry, who's just coasting along on the outskirts of the family, Morty is the most independent character and one who is the least reliant on Rick. And it just becomes more and more emphasized as the episodes go on, even if there is little to no continuity here. Look at the view. Even if there is little to no continuity, like in this season, to be honest, you still can tell. There was, for example, the Voltron episode. There, Morty just went completely against Rick and Summer at the time to... Ouch. Okay, so my crown got ruined. To save his family. And that's the thing that he is just characterized as able to do. Now, in this episode, he reverts to, I don't know, I mean, I think he has not been as reliant on Rick ever, to be honest. Whew. I'll take a little break because I would have to be going up a steep slope, so I'll just take a break. Anyhow, I must be panting super loud. Hope you're not too bothered. In this episode, Rick is portrayed as this very powerful character who fosters dependency and trauma bonding and toxic relationships. I mean, he would be able to, but he's been getting steadily less and less impressive as the show goes on. And now we're to believe that Morty, for some reason, depends on him completely. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but I have no way of browsing my notes right now. But what I mean is, the arc in this episode is that Rick realizes, well, okay, in the sperm episode, Morty forces Rick, because Rick is the one who depends on someone in this relationship, forces Rick to take his word that container of sperm, there are people coming, that the container of sperm is not his or whatever. And in this episode, he refuses to take Morty's word for something, and he's right because Morty is lying. So, because of that, Rick replaces Morty with a random thing. In this case, 2 crows. And throughout the relationship, he builds a strong-ish relationship with the crows, and Morty goes on a downward spiral because he does not know how to function without Rick, and that's just kind of not something that he should be unable to do. He's been doing fine. He's been attempting to live without Rick. He's been trying to foster romantic relationships, like with the Vat of Acid episode girl, or with Planetina. And now, when it's Rick's decision to end the relationship, seemingly because Rick does not want to be entangled in this unhealthy relationship, Morty just doesn't know what to do with himself anymore, and bonds with another person who was supposedly rejected by Rick. This I don't know if this guy is an addict or just mentally ill or both, but yeah, an addict. I think he was trying to take heroin or something. In general, an unstable man. And the third character, apart from Morty and the guy who has a weird relationship with Rick, is Garbage Goober, who we think is just something like an not very smart alien who thrives on eating trash. It turns out that Rick's aura of I don't know, this compelling toxicity made this alien fall into somehow a pattern of pretending to be a mindless garbage eater, when in reality he is a doctor and very intelligent. And so yeah, characterization is completely thrown off because of that, and Rick is, as always, not allowed to grow as a person, because even if he has seemingly a little bit seemingly he has a moment of growth where he fixes his relationship with the crows, it turns out that the crows were actually just using him as a rebound. And I want to point out that this relationship, Rick and crows, once again is furthering this theme of Rick having this weird homoerotic tension within his friendships. And I still don't know why that is, to be honest, but I remind you that with Bird Person, with the president, and now with this crows, I mean, here it is as a joke, but the crows do see him as a rebound, so go figure that. So characterization, continuity, I mean, this episode sees the return of evil Morty. I did not predict that. I predicted that this finale will be like a 2-part one thing, but I did not predict the return of evil Morty. That's because I don't like him, and I was hoping that he wouldn't come back. But he did, and it was a evil Morty-centric episode. He was kind of portrayed not as an evil character, but more, well, visually he was very Steve Jobsy to me, especially when he dressed in black. But it seemed that he is just intelligent, and his evilness has to do with the fact that he seeks independence from Rick and this whole Rick and Morty universe, because it turns out that Central Finite Curve is like a closed multiverse where all the iterations of Rick exist. We seem to see Rick's backstory with his dead daughter, who was mentioned in the Bird Person episode, but I wouldn't take it into account too much, because if this episode does something for continuity, is to just kind of show that the makers of the show do not really want, that Dan Harmon does not really want to, does not really want to continue with any sort of continuity, but he's been throwing hints here and there that he's not fond of broad plot lines for a while, so I don't think that we can see that as unexpected. But these episodes felt very spiteful to me, even more so than usual. It kind of even feels like the creators of the show cannot really have fun, because even if they put a lot of effort, supposedly, I mean, I've read some tweets and interviews with the creators that they put a lot of effort into this product, they still in the back burner are angry that they are shackled by some kind of expectation from the audience. But like, newsflash, you don't really have to do what the audience wants, to be honest, because by being so angry, they settle on kind of fulfilling audience expectations, like having some sort of continuity, like putting in evil Morty and stuff like that, but also just the anger seeps into the product, and you can like perceive it when you watch the show, at least in my opinion, to be honest. So yeah, I discussed the continuity and the characterization and the general quality of the episodes. I hated them. Okay, I really hated them. I really didn't have fun, because all the callbacks and references to other things were things that I am not excessively fond of, and I mean, I really hated that the characterization was inconsistent, because even if I don't mind there being, I mean, I prefer continuity to unrelated closed episodes, but even if so, I want the characterization to be consistent. But now, I mean, Morty has never been so wimpy and so helpless as now. He's like Jerry levels of helplessness, and Rick and Morty do end up kind of together once again by the end of the episodes, but it's in this toxic relationship that they kind of have in season 1, but even worse for Morty, to be honest. Ouch! Thank you. So I just thanked Kira for the stick. So I also did not like that there was a cameo of a Rick who was sort of a cameo, like inspired by the Stan Lee cameos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I did not like the motive of Garbage Goober, who is kind of like very much like Mr. Poopy Butthole in his characterization, because Poopy Butthole does have this toxic dependence on Rick, which is specifically showcased in where he destroys his career just because Rick asked him to go do some karate in the heist episode of season 4. So Garbage Goober is like Mr. Poopy Butthole. He also is a doctor. They are completely identical characters, to be honest. And then in the post-credit scene of the last episode, we see Mr. Poopy Butthole talking about his life, which seemed redundant at this point, I think, or the Garbage Goober shouldn't have been there. So this episode was, this episode, irrelevant. It's a one thing, where to me a bit confused about who Rick is and who Morty is, but also just made with a lot of spite, which was bearable. And with that, I don't think I'm going to be waiting impatiently for the next season to come out, because yeah, the season 3 that I enjoyed the most is not looking like, I mean, it's not looking like I'm going to get the thing that I like the most, which is a season-long story arc. But yeah, I don't know whether I'll be creating any more content regarding Rick and Morty. So with that, I hope you enjoyed your time here. Thank you for hanging out. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Drop a like, especially if you're watching this on Reddit, because I will be posting it there as well. Yeah, thanks. and see you later. Or no, I will wrap this up in the words of the person, whoever person wrote this. So, 風に乗り飛び立ち黒い翼広げいつまでも一緒に戦う空の果てまで君と